Kia ora. Kia ora koutou katoa. Markie here. And you can see my ugly visage today in the video, which hasn't been on film for a little while, mainly because I haven't got anywhere I can shoot with a decent background at the moment. So I tend to focus on something else. Like I go out in my mobile studio and show you lovely views of the sea. But today you've got to look at my chops. I want to talk to you because I'm at home and I just had a burning urge to shoot this video. And this video is in response to a question from somebody. I love questions. Do ask me questions. So for those of you new to the channel, welcome. This channel is not for everyone. It has a very homely and rambling and conversational style. I use a shaky camera. Well, I don't use a shaky. You can't buy shaky cameras, can you? You can't go online and go on Amazon and put in shaky camera. You have to put some effort into making the camera shaky. And there is no style whatsoever in my videos. It's all content. It's all meat. All meat and no garnish, no frippery. Is that a word? Frippery. So today I'm going to talk about retroactive jealousy. Now, I don't always talk about retroactive jealousy, which you might think is odd because it's a retroactive jealousy channel. But there are two reasons why I don't always talk about retroactive jealousy. One is I don't want to scrape the barrel. I only want to talk about retroactive jealousy when I've got something useful to say. And two, when you have a YouTube channel, you have to keep putting out content. People have to keep watching that content, otherwise it kind of tumbles into the depths of obscurity and your channel just doesn't reach anybody. So our purpose is about getting information about retroactive jealousy out there, but we talk about all kinds of things. And it's not just filler, it's not filler at all, but it's a range of things that I talk about. And a lot of the things are kind of have an overlap with retroactive jealousy because I'm a psychotherapist and I'm a hypnotherapist. I work with things like family abuse, sexual abuse, and other conditions, as well as retroactive jealousy. So a lot of the material is pretty heavyweight, but and on parallel issues to retroactive jealousy. And some of it might just be me attempting a film review or something like that, which I do from time to time, even though I'm really bad at doing film reviews. I don't know, it must be cathartic for me. So there we go. So that's what we're all about. If you don't like the style, that's fine. Find somebody else, find another channel that's got a different style that suits you. But I think it's charming, conversational. I like to think we're sat together in padded, overstuffed armchairs next to a roaring fire with a glass of single malt, puffing on a pipe. Putting the worlds to rights together. That's the approach of this channel. So think of it like that as we continue forward. But today I am talking about retroactive jealousy, and the question that I was asked was, what if I do identify that I have a clash of values with my partner around sexual or romantic behavior? Okay, and I need to put this into context, really, this question, because one of the ways I generally define retroactive jealousy is it's an issue where it's not around a clash of values. Okay, what do I mean by that? So most people with retroactive jealousy that focus on sexual behavior, which is what we call the male subtype, although females get it as well, will say, well, look, my partner did X, Y, and Z, but I don't think that's a bad thing. I've either done X, Y, and Z myself, or I would have done X, Y, and Z myself had I had half a chance. In the abstract, I don't think any of those things that he or she did were bad or wrong. But I feel horribly uncomfortable and disgusted by them, whatever they're jealous, anxious, distressed. Disgust is a big emotion in retroactive jealousy. So they feel like hypocrites. They often say that, I feel like a hypocrite. Okay. And one of the things I say is that retroactive jealousy is, because retroactive jealousy is an OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder variant. It operates in that way. You can have retroactive jealousy issues and not have obsessive compulsive disorder, but most people do. For most people, it is an obsessive compulsive disorder presentation. And OCD is kind of interesting because every word in OCD, every one of those 3 letters is important. So first of all, obsessive, so that's to do with thoughts. So when we obsess about something, we think about it intensely and a lot of the time. Compulsive is where we're driven, or we feel driven towards an action, and that action usually is asking partner questions or seeking reassurance in some way. And disorder, because OCD, I mean, OCD is a very serious condition. You know, it distorts people's beliefs almost to the point, it's not psychosis, but it distorts people's beliefs almost to the point of psychosis. It's horrible for the sufferer, it's horrible for the people around the sufferer. It's a really serious condition, OCD. It should not be taken lightly, okay? But people say, oh, I'm a bit OCD about this, and I'm a bit OCD about that. You know, I'm a bit OCD about, you know, because I stir my tea 3 times clockwise. That is not OCD because there's no disorder. Okay, if you stir your tea 3 times clockwise, it's not going to disrupt your life. It's not going to make your partner leave you. It's not going to alienate your family. It's not going to make you late for work. It's not going to make you unable to do the things you enjoy. It's not going to take away, like, you know, the pleasure that you have in other things. It's not going to eat away at your soul like rats gnawing at you. Okay, because it's not at the disorder level. So don't say, I'm a bit OCD. You might be a bit obsessive, you might be a bit compulsive. We all are. Everybody has a bit of that. But when it reaches the disorder stage, don't, you know, believe me, it's horrible. Okay, I've been there. Don't want to go back there. Very, very nasty. Okay. So it's not the same as having a belief or a value system. Okay, so so there are people that might have very strong and rigid beliefs about sexual and romantic behavior and what's right and wrong. And if they were in a situation where they had a partner who had different beliefs or behaved in a different way, they could well have a problem with that. They just see their partner as, well, they're just wrong. Okay. Now there's issues around that and about tolerance and all that kind of thing. But they're not the kind of people that would recognize that they've got a problem or seek out help. And also they probably wouldn't be obsessive and compulsive about it. And they might not like it, but they wouldn't be thinking about it all the time, every day, and going back to it, you know, asking questions, finding out more, going through that whole kind of vicious cycle. It would just be something there, I guess, if you like. So you've got the 2 poles, really. You've got people that haven't got retroactive jealousy, but have got, you know, very quite judgmental, let's say, beliefs, rigid and judgmental beliefs around sexual behaviour. And if their partner doesn't, comply with those beliefs or hold those beliefs, or maybe has behaved in a way that's contrary to those beliefs, they might have a problem. And then there's a subset of people in that bracket who could actually, you know, potentially be quite abusive, you know. So that just to put that in that box, really. And then you've got the people with retroactive jealousy that say, well, my sexual beliefs are all very liberal, I'm pro-sex, but, you know, I just have, you know, for some reason, you know, when my partner tells me that she had oral sex with her first boyfriend, it makes me want to throw up, and I feel like how can I stay with her? You know, and they recognize that conflict. They recognize something doesn't add up there. And then you've got people that are somewhere in the middle, and this is where I think this question lies, really. So if you're asking this question, then you do have some beliefs about what behaviour is okay and what behaviour is not okay, and your partner has acted in a way that's contrary to them. And you may have done too, or you may not have done, or you may have wanted to, and you would have done if you got half a chance. So why? And it's causing them a problem. Okay, not just a problem, but it's a problem that's manifesting with all the hallmarks of obsessive compulsive disorder. Okay, so if I've got rigid beliefs around what's okay in terms of sexual behaviour, and I've got a partner that's had a life that's very different to those beliefs. I might not like that, I might be uncomfortable with it, but I'm probably not going to be obsessed by it. So this is the thing, is the problem isn't your beliefs. The problem is your obsession with those beliefs. You know, you might not like it, but you wouldn't be thinking about it every day, okay, or half the week, or how often. So if you're in that middle space where, you know, I'm not comfortable with what my partners did, I don't think that's right, you know, it's not the kind of behavior I agree with, you know, it goes against my values, goes against my morals. First question to ask yourself is, why do you have the expectation that your partner has exactly the same value system as you? Okay. Now, yes, it's important that your value system overlaps, you know, that you share a good chunk of values with your partner. Okay, because if you don't, your relationship's probably going to be quite turbulent. But do you have to agree on everything? On every moral stance? Do you have to vote for the same party? Do you have to like the same candidates? Do you have to agree on every issue? Don't you think that's a bit unrealistic? Don't you think that's a bit unhealthy? You know, do you want a partner or do you want a clone? Okay, so the first question is, you know, are your expectations for your value systems to match? Are they realistic? You know, yes, you want some overlap in value systems, and most of your core values should overlap, but they're probably more general things like, you know, like kindness and honesty or things like that. If you expect your partner to be exactly the same as you in all their beliefs and opinions, that's unhealthy. That is unhealthy, okay, because and that narcissism might be at the root of that. It's a narcissistic thing, or it's just unrealistic, or you have an insecurity and therefore you're threatened when your partner believes something different. But at worst, it's an indication of an unhealthy desire for control and domination. You know, it sounds heavy, and it is really. You know, why is your, you know, why do you want to dominate your partner's belief system? Why do you want to control your partner's head? You want to control your partner's thoughts and their beliefs. They've got to be the same as you on everything. That's really not healthy. Now, maybe you're not at that extreme, okay? Maybe, you know, maybe there's other areas where you don't care. You know, your partner, you know, you're right wing, your partner's left wing, and you don't worry too much about it. But with the, you know, with the RJ, the sexual related stuff, it does bother you. So, if it's retroactive jealousy, you know, if it is, you know, if this is the cycle of obsession and compulsion, then even though you might disagree and be uncomfortable with, and there might be a clash of values with your partner, you still shouldn't be obsessing about it. It shouldn't be on your mind all the time. So in terms of what to do, you just treat it in the same way as any other form of retroactive jealousy. So the thing about retroactive jealousy treatment is it's boring as hell. It really is boring. It's very simple. And we've got tons of videos on this. The key ones really are the golden rule and the antidote technique. Okay, so a lot of the ways to treat retroactive jealousy are just repetitive techniques that you use. You use them again and again and again and again and again and again, and they're boring. Retroactive jealousy is not, you know, it's not sexy. You know, it's there are conditions that are far more interesting than retroactive jealousy. But retroactive jealousy recovery is simple, requires massive dedication, but actually the process for getting well is simple. It's just repetitive. So even if your values differ around sexual behaviour, then the process of getting well is the same. You know, it's this is the thing. We could, you know, we've done videos looking at different types of retroactive jealousy and different things that feed into retroactive jealousy and influence it, different things that cause it, or or perpetuate it, keep it going. But the recovery process is the same. It's the same. Where it does get interesting is, and this is what we often find, people come to us for therapy for retroactive jealousy, and actual therapy for retroactive jealousy often can be quite brief, because what you're doing really is it's more about coaching somebody in their own recovery program, and you get them started doing these daily actions, these daily boring repetitive actions. Sorry, I'm not selling it, but anything is better than retroactive jealousy, even really boring techniques are better than the hell of retroactive jealousy. And then often retroactive jealousy comes alongside other things. Often there's a big overlap of people who've had trauma, significant trauma, often in the form of abuse, often in the form of betrayal. So the work that people do after they've got a grip on their retroactive jealousy, that is interesting, because when you start looking into some of those other issues, it's kind of a fascinating journey of self-discovery. But that usually comes later, after somebody's tackled the symptoms and stopped the cycle of the retroactive jealousy. Once you stop that cycle, then you can go deep and start looking at yourself and looking at maybe, well, why have I got this form of OCD rather than that form of OCD? Why have I got retroactive jealousy rather than, I don't want to tread on the cracks in the pavement, or I have this fear of contamination and bacteria, and that triggers me in a obsessive compulsive way. So the deeper, darker, sexier stuff, that can come later. But actual recovery from retroactive jealousy is repetitive, simple, straightforward, but you must apply yourself with 110% dedication. So that's the kind of, I suppose that is the simple answer really to that question. Is yes, there's a clash of values. Why does it matter to you? Especially as if it's related to sexual and romantic behaviour. And most people that ask this question are in a monogamous relationship with their partner. So the partner's not acting on those beliefs. So even if they're, if they're a child of the 60s and into free love, right? They're not doing free love now. They're in a relationship with you. All their sex is coming your way, So their behaviour is not causing you a problem. Their current behaviour, why should their past behaviour cause you a problem? So it's only probably causing you a problem if you're obsessive and compulsive about it. So in a way, whether you've got a clash of values or not clash of values, if your retroactive jealousy is following this OCD formula, pattern, cycle, it's the same difference. It doesn't matter at all. But I'm gonna leave you with a story, which may also be helpful. I think I've probably shared this story before. It's not my story. I'm not sure of the origin of it. It's probably very ancient. But I think this kind of fits with this theme. And this is a story about two monks who are on a journey. I don't know why. Maybe they're going from one monastery to another. Maybe the abbot has sent them on an errand. But it's a longish journey. And they're traveling together, and they could be Buddhist monks, it could be Christian monks, it could be. I'm going to talk a little bit about Christianity actually before we finish. So I'll tell the story and then I'll say a little bit about Christianity and religion, because that does play into this. And one of the rules of that order of monks is that they mustn't have any contact with women. So they mustn't touch women, mustn't talk to women, mustn't have anything to do with women. Okay, but they're also, their values are around kindness, generosity, all the best things that religions have to offer. And they come to a ford in a river. Okay, so this is we're talking. The story is set in kind of ancient times, really, or it's not set in where they just get in a car and drive. They're walking. You imagine them with the big staffs and a little pack on their back and all that kind of thing. And they come into a ford in a river, but the river's in flood, and it's quite difficult to ford. And there's this young woman there who's tiny, very frail. They're big, stout blokes, 6'3.5" in their socks, and she's desperate to get across she comes up and she says, "Oh, can you help me? Because you know, I don't think I can get across this ford, and I'm desperate to get to the other side because my sister, stroke brother, stroke uncle, granddad, child, dog, whippet, yak, camel is ill, and I need to take some medicine to them." And so the one monk, without hesitation, says, "Yeah, just, you know, hop on my back, you know, piggyback style." And you know, he's big and tall and strong, and he's got his staff, carries her across the river. She hops off the other side, says thank you very much, and then heads off in a different direction. And then the monks continue on their journey, and the other monk says, "I cannot believe you did that. That you breached the rules of our order. You know, you're not supposed to have anything to do with women. And look at what you did. You picked her up and you carried her. You didn't think about it." And this monk goes on and on and on. They're traveling, you know, just the two of them for, you know, days, you know, and he's going on about this for days. He's going on about it for the next 3 days. And finally, the monk that carried the woman said, "I carried the woman for 5 minutes. You've carried her for 3 days." Great story, isn't it? I like that. So, just a final word on religion is just in my experience. I just find this really interesting. Is, you know, and I'm going to pick on Christianity here. I'm sure other religions are probably equally guilty, but I probably brush up more against Christianity than anything else. Is it seems to me that Christians have an even greater difficulty with this stuff than non-Christians. I mean, I might be wrong. This is just the way it appears. I've not done any research on this. There's no empirical evidence on this. This is just anecdotal. But Christians, you know, that you know, very particularly Americans. Sorry to pick on Americans, but I mean, America is more Christian than other places. America is also less pro-sex than Europe. If you look at European values and American values, America actually comes out as, you know, not pro-sex at all. Christianity in America often focuses around sexual values and the expectations around that. And what I find is, you know, people quite often say, well, you know, me and my partner are a Christian, but, you know, she did all these unchristian things before we were together, you know, and I have a real problem with that. Well, I think, hang on a minute. Christianity, surely, is all about forgiveness. Christianity is you know, it's like, it's about being non-judgmental. It's about being forgiving. But Christians seem to be, and American Christians in particular, but that's where I've come across this the most. Not exclusively, but the most. American Christians seem to have a real problem with forgiving their partners. Now, I'm pro-sex. I don't believe that as long as somebody's sexual behaviour hasn't been harmful, if somebody's you know, done non-consensual or abusive sexual behaviour, that's harmful. To me, that's a sin. Okay, that's something that needs to be addressed. But if somebody has a history of consensual sexual behaviour, whatever it might be, if nobody's been harmed, if people's consent has been honoured at all times, then there is actually nothing to forgive. You might not like it. It might make you uncomfortable for various reasons, probably because you've got OCD, RJ or OCD, but nothing to forgive. But okay, I can take my head out of my own little belief system and pop it into somebody else's head that, you know, you know, a sola scriptura Christian who, you know, follows the letter of the Bible, no sex before marriage, they are going to see that as sinful behaviour. Okay, fair enough. That's part of your belief system. You know, I'm not going to challenge that just because I hold a different belief. You know, that's okay for you to have that belief. But, you know, what you do that's contrary to the will of God is your business, and what your partner does that's contrary to the will of God is their business. Is it not? You know, why are you sitting in judgment of your partner? Judge not lest ye be judged, surely. But that's something I just want to throw in there, really. If there is a religious element You're not actually, by holding that judgment and by not forgiving and not letting go, letting go and forgiving is the same thing, really. You're not following your espoused religious pathway at all. You're contradicting it. You're going against it. And what I think, maybe what's going on here is it's not. You think it's a religious issue, but actually it's a cultural issue. So you've grown up in this, maybe you are part of a religious culture where people hold those beliefs, and a lot of people are into what they call purity culture, where they do avoid sex before marriage and things like that, and that then becomes the cultural norm. And when something goes against your cultural norm, you're going to experience some discomfort around that potentially. You should not, I don't like using the word should, but I'm being judgmental now. You shouldn't be sitting in judgment. If you espouse Christian values, there is no justification for you sitting in judgment of your partner whatsoever. If Christ was talking to you, he'd be telling you to forgive, forgive. And there's a biblical example of it with Mary Magdalene. So it's kind of hinted in the Bible that Mary Magdalene, may have had a colourful past, may have been a sex worker. I can't remember the exact words, but I think Jesus said, to me, you're a chaste virgin. So, you really need to give your head a shake if you're using Christianity and Christian values as a way of judging your partner. And you're probably kidding yourself. You're probably just using it as a way to, there's probably something else that's going on there that's making you couch that in a religious context. Because Christianity is all about, complete forgiveness, it's all about letting go. So if you're a Christian, generally speaking, I think that's a gift. If you are people who have faith, have more resources behind them for RJ recovery than people that don't have a faith. It doesn't matter what the faith is. It can be a faith in anything, but particularly a faith where forgiveness is such a key thing, and letting go is such a key thing. And I know, forgiveness is important in Islam as well. It's important in Judaism. It's important in other beliefs. So it's not an exclusive Christian thing, but this does come up in the Christian context a lot of the time. So your partner's relationship with God is theirs, and your relationship with God is your own. First remove the mote from thine own. What is it? No, first remove the dog from thine own eye before you remove the mote from your partner's eye. But that confuses people because of the language. It's not dog, it's log. So a mote is a speck of dust, a dust mote. So what they're saying is you've got something, you can see something tiny in somebody else's eye, and you say, oh, you've got something in your eye, you better get that out. And you've got a dirty, great big bit of 4B2 in your eye. That's the point it's making, is look at yourself. Don't look at your partner. Look at yourself. And if you've got some making good to be done with with Jesus, if you're a Christian, then it's about your judgmentalism. It's not about oh Jesus, my partner did this, my partner did that. Like telling tales on your partner. So there you go. I hope I haven't offended anybody. I like to be respectful to all religions, but don't misuse your faith, and don't let your faith be misused in such a way that it supports or perpetuates your own pathology. So I hope that's helpful. I'm in the mood for making videos today, so I might be back with more. Probably not retroactive jealousy, because it'll probably be a little while before I've got something new to say about that. Although having said that, there is a song that's been brought to my attention about retroactive jealousy, so I'm going to do a video on that at some point. I kind of collect songs where the lyrics relate to retroactive jealousy. If you know of any, please let me know. Please send me a link if you can. And I'll try and cover those in videos. So thank you for watching. Please help us out, because yes, we earn our living through helping people with retroactive jealousy, but we do tons of free stuff, and most of what we do give away for free. So the videos, things like the antidote technique and some of the introductory stuff for retroactive jealousy, the videos for partners, all completely free. And the more you support us just by watching the video, if you watch the video all the way through, if you comment, if you give it a like, if you share, if you subscribe, if you support us on Patreon, all those things help us do what we do, and that will get more help out there to people with retroactive jealousy. So thank you for listening to my rant and ramble, and any questions, share it, put them in the comments below. We love questions, and have a great day, and Rangimarie. May your God go with you.